So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is actually construct the outside pieces of the album. That means we need to make the jacket, the spine, the gusset, and cover everything. So in packet Z, as in zebra, you're going to find a couple of odd pieces that have nothing to do with the construction of the book, but I needed to keep them flat, and this is the most rigid pack, so I inserted those. So you're going to find a conversion chart that will be page 14, the very last page of your book, and this is going to be the very first page in your book, the doily. So let's set those to the side, and we'll come back to those shortly. Now, in your book, or I'm sorry, in Kit Z, the Packet Z, you're going to find that you have 10 very heavy-duty craft paper cardstock. This is going to be the inside pages of your book. So let's set that to the side for the moment too. You're going to find some thinner pieces of craft cardstock from 12 to 12 down, and these pieces are going to be our cover. This pleated piece here is going to be our gusset, which is going to hold those pages in for us. I think I pulled an extra sheet there. This is our book itself. The chipboard is cut to 9.5 by 10.5, and the spine is cut to 2.5 by 10.5. Again, the black is what I've cut for you. The green is what you need to cut. And this is my prototype cutting chart, so I can't do a final one until I finish the videos and make sure I made no mistakes. So I'm going to put this to the side for the moment, and we'll refer to it in just a little bit. So we're first going to start by covering our chipboard. So you can see, set everything else to the side, but one piece of 12 by 12 and one piece of the chipboard that's 9.5 by 10.5. All right, so you're going to keep the 12 by 12 piece of paper out, and then you have a piece of chipboard that is 9.5 by 10.5, and we're going to cover this. You'll notice that they are not symmetrical. You can trim that down if you prefer, but it's not going to show, so I'm not going to worry about it. What I'm going to do is actually attach that to this. Now, because this is thinner craft paper, you can either use glue or you can use double-sided adhesive tape, whichever you prefer. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use the glue, and I will go ahead and I'm going to cover my chipboard. And because this paper is a little thinner, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to run it across it so I don't have any real bold lines of glue, but it's going to be very tacky and it's going to hold firmly. And yes, I do have a wet wipe close by. If you want to use double stick tape, you're welcome to. Now I'm going to turn this over and stick it down in the center of my cardstock. Let me make sure I've got it kind of in the middle there. That looks good to me. Now we'll flip this over. See how smooth it makes it? You won't have any glue streaks. I like to give you occasional tips that will help. All right, now my cover is nice and secure. I've scored it down, burnished it down, I should say. Now I'm going to very carefully go ahead and start working my edges. This is where you're going, oh, Sherry, are we having to do that again? Yes, you're having to do that again. We got to bend those paper fibers a little at a time. This makes a wonderful wrap on the paper around the book cover. It's just to prove to you don't have to use good quality linen paper every time. As long as it's a good, well-made cardstock, I don't have a problem with it. And this one's working really well. Okay, get this side here. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing for the back one. So with the magic of the camera, what is going to take me probably 5 minutes to do, I'll fast forward over to that one finished in a few minutes. So pay attention to this one because I'm not going to do the other side for you on camera. And then this one I'm going to bend up nicely. It's bending very well. Once I get those folds, I'm going to take my tape. You can either use a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 of an inch. I really like 3/8 of an inch, but you can use whichever you're comfortable with. I'm just going to put one strand down the chipboard itself and then one on the outer edge of my paper. If you prefer to use glue, you're certainly welcome to. I'm going to do the opposite side now. Beautiful day outside, so I have plenty of light. Spring is finally here. And the last one. Okay. Now, as always, I burnish it down. If I don't, that will not hold as well as I would like for it to hold. Okay, then in my corners, I'm going to miter that, and I'm just going to take it and miter about 1/8 of an inch from that corner. And if you haven't done this before, what I'm doing is leaving, I'm going to pull it up so you can see it right here. I leave just about 1/8 of an inch there, and I cut at a mitered corner there. And I do that on all 4 sides. And then throw these away. Now we can get started. I'm going to do my long sides first, and I'm going to pull all my tape off. Then I'm going to do my short. Somebody asked me whether I enjoyed constructing the book or decorating it more. I'm one of these funny people that like the making of the book the most. This is my most enjoyable part of it. All right, now I'm going to take my art glitter glue. I'm going to run a bead down the middle there. A little bit here, just to make sure it sticks very well. And I'll burnish that down. If you get too much, it'll squeeze out those sides, so you may want to wipe them off with a wet rag. I generally use my fingers. And then I'm going to do the opposite side. Good. Pull that over tightly. Beautiful. And then I'll wipe that little excess off there. And one more end here. Now, if you have a whole bunch of paper showing along that side corner, you can always tuck it in with your finger right there at the edge. Look how neat those corners are. And yes, I know it wasn't perfectly symmetrical, but this is going to be covered, so I wasn't really worried about cutting 600 pieces of this paper down 1/2 inch. It just wasn't necessary. Takes a while to prep these kits. Longer than you guys probably realize. All right, now I'm going to turn it over. And if I hadn't had glue on my burnishing tool, it would have been perfect. Now I'm going to do my edges. I like to square those off I like them nice and neat. Now that's a perfect cover, guys. Go ahead and do your second cover, and then we'll do our spine. All right, now that we've covered the front and the back, we're going to cover this piece. This is 7 by 12 inches. This is the spine piece that is 2.5 by 10.5 inches. It's going to go here. We're going to be putting this piece up, this piece down, and then we're going to anchor these side pieces onto the panels here so that when you close your book, you're going to have a spine showing. That's probably a little confusing, so we'll go ahead and get started, and it'll make more sense as we go. So I'm going to set these two pieces to the side. I'm going to take this one and get a kind of eyeball it to see how much space I have. Okay, I'm going to bring it in just a little closer for you. Now, what I'm going to do is the same thing I did on my cover. I'm going to put some glue on here. Double stick tape will work as well. Okay, and then I'm going to smear this nicely so that it won't buckle my paper. Good. I'm going to put a little more glue right here. I want those edges to really hold. So I'm going to make sure I get plenty around the very edges. I want it neat. Good. Wipe off my finger. And then we're going to take this, turn it over, and we're going to lay it down in the center of that. Okay? Hopefully I've got this centered. Let's see, my camera is sliding on me, of course, which means it's getting ready to fall. Hang on. There we go. I hate for it to fall on my head. I lost my other rig and I had to get a new one, and this one is a little finicky. It doesn't want to hold a bigger camera. Okay, now I'm going through and I'm burnishing so that you can see that crease quite clearly. You see that? I don't have to put it up close. You can clearly see it on the camera. Good. That's what I'm wanting. Don't want to cut the paper. I just want to kind of burnish it there. Now I'm going to fold these ends just like this. Okay. And then I'm going to fold them over, and I'm going to push that down tightly. Glue all over me. Just like that. Don't do anything else just yet. Just bend them over. Get those paper fibers trained so that they won't crack. Good. Excellent. Now, we're going to take some double stick tape and do one thing at a time here. I'm going to take some 1/4 inch double stick tape. I'm going to put that right there. And let's see, I think I'll go ahead and put it all the way across here. Like that. And do the other side. Good. Burnish it down. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? Cut off that extra little piece there. And to secure it, I'm going to use glue, but I've got to first peel this off. And I'm going to take my glue, and I'm just going to run a little bit right here. A little bit over through here. Not a whole lot, just a little bit to get it to stay. And then burnish that down. All right, so that's what I've got right there. Then I'm going to do this side, same way. Good. Good. I'm going to take my scissors, hush Sadie, and I'm going to lightly miter like this. Can you see how I did that? Oops, I'm not in frame. Well, that is interesting. I can't find it. There it is. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut up to that hinge part right there. Turn it around and do my other side. Just a smidgen. Let me make sure I've got it nice and even. Good. Get rid of all my little papers. All right, now my spine is about ready, but now I need to kind of train my paper a little bit because before I attach it, I want it to be nice and broke in. So I'm going to do both sides repeatedly a few times. This is what is going to make my book lay flat. So this is kind of important. And yes, I do bend it backwards. If you do this step, it will be very successful. Now when it lays down, see it's flat. Excellent. Now to attach it to my front and to my back, we're not going to put it like this because that would show on your front. Yes, it is a pretty cover. If you want to make it that way, we can do one like that later. But I'm going to slip it to the inside and glue it down because that way it will make a nice finished corner. Can you see that? So we're going to be attaching it that way. So I'm going to take this part here and I'm going to use some 3/8 inch tape and I'm going to put it across through here, burnish it down, and then I'm going to add the glue to it as well to secure it. Alrighty. Now I'm going to put my glue on there. I'm not going to use a heavy glue. I am going to put a little bit, but I'm not going to get anywhere closer than 1/4 of an inch from that inside edge there. Okay? I don't want it to, I really don't want that to be a problem and show on the front. And I smeared my glue a little bit, but I think I removed too much of it. I'm going to take this, redo it a little bit, and then I'm going to lay down my cover to where it's inside the scoreboard and lay this down beside it where it will be nice and straight. Very good. Now I'm going to fold this one back or turn it over. And by the way, a while ago off camera, I did put it down to the back of my book on the wrong side. So the back of mine looks kind of cruddy, but we're going to cover that in a minute, so who really cares? So now let's do the same thing on this one, and I promise I'll do it right this time. I got distracted and made a boo-boo, and I erased it. You don't have that luxury, do you? All right, that's the end of that tape. Okay, doke. Burnish that down good, and then I'm going to add my glue. I love it when I mess up. And trust me, every project has a mess up. It can't all be perfect. In fact, none of mine can be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to lay down. I'm going to lay down this, like this. Make sure I got it right. Okay. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it down kind of beside it here. But I want to make sure it's nice and straight. Both of them are nice and straight. I haven't got enough of my 12 by 12 on there. Hold on, I got to get my head down. Okay, that should work. All right, let's see how that looks. Oh, it couldn't be better. See what a nice, neat corner that comes out to be on that edge. Okay, so I'm going to burnish that down. That will be my front cover because it looks better. I know. And that is the cover itself there. We've got it done. Our book jacket is made. How about that? Now, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to make sure that's down good. We're going to cover this piece here, which is this one right here that's 8.5 by 10.25. See, this is going to go directly over top of that center area. Do I want to crease it? People ask me that all the time. I generally do this. I kind of center it a little bit, and then I take my bone folder and I kind of score it up through that crease. So it's kind of getting some training already that it's going to bend, see? So I go ahead and I kind of do this. And then we're going to tape it down and glue it down. Now, I will tell you, if you choose to just tape this, it will come off. These pages are heavy. So we're going to do a combination of the two. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of crease this a little bit more. Good. See? It's not really straight, but it doesn't matter because all of this is going to get covered. Now I'm going to turn it over. I don't know why I turned it over, but we're going to take some score tape and put on this. Notice it doesn't go all the way to the top. There's a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here. So don't put tape or glue there. You want to avoid that if you can. I'm going to run some tape down on this edge here. I like to cut it with scissors. And then I'm going to do this edge. Ooh, a little high. It'll show. All right. Now I'm going to burnish that down really well. Good. Pull that off. Now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to be generous with it all the way up and down the middle. Do not, I repeat, do not glue in the crease. You want to get a little bit beside the tape if you can. Mine's awfully close, but I'm going to put a little bit there just to make sure it's okay. Now, I'm going to line this up. And place it down. That center is the most important part. You want it on there really good. Okay. Excellent. Now take your glue and attach over here, but do not get near that crease. So we're going to take our glue and we're going to put it on here, being careful to make sure we're going to be covering it. Now this paper comes on over, so I'm going to do a bead there. Smooth that down. This is, to me, the trickiest part, is putting down your covers. I'm going to leave that for a moment. Okay, it's bending, I'm glad. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my glue down. This isn't going anywhere when I get through doing this. It's going to be great. It's going to hold and secure everything. Just gorgeous. So we're going to smooth it down. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the first one. This is the side I did to start with. Make sure see, this is loose, so I need to go back and glue that a little bit. I don't want anything loose. Good. Make sure I get that corner. Good. Okay. And now I'm going to bend this up. I'm going to use my bone folder. Make sure that it bends nicely, which it does. Good, and it lays flat. Now I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to check my corners. That one's still loose. Okay. This one is too. I didn't get any glue right on those edges. I knew that, so. Okay, good. Use my bone folder again and kind of crease it as I bend it. Good. And I'm going all the way over. Go all the way over on this side. I had glue on my disc. Of course, that doesn't look good. All right, now, there is my book. Pausing it, and then we'll come back with our gusset, and we'll work with this piece. So go ahead and get that out and put this away, and we'll get started with that next. All right, so in your book, you'll see that the gusset is right here in the middle. And that's what holds these pages. They're sandwiched onto each pleat that sticks up, called a gusset. The gusset doesn't show in the front of the book, okay? And it doesn't show in the back. So we're going to make that gusset now. So I'm moving this out of the way. All right. This has been scored. That means I took a burnishing tool or a stylus and scored it at every 3/8 of an inch. I'm having a terrible time getting in the front. I'm sorry. I need to put a dot on the table so I know where the center is. But it's scored for you. Now, what that means is you're going to do a up and down technique. And it's kind of important you follow along with me. So you're going to make a mountain to start with. This is called a mountain because it goes up. Okay? Can you see that? It goes up. You start with a mountain because if you can picture it, this is what's your paper is going to be sandwiched onto that. So that first one needs to be strong enough to hold 2 of those sheets of paper. I'm going to bring it in a little bit so you can see. Now, that means this fold goes up, this goes down, then this is going to go over because we start the next pleat here. So we have to go here, all right, so that shows you how it's going to run. Let me go ahead and fold this one, and then I'll review what I've done. Okay. I know it looks confusing. Don't let it confuse you. Just reason it out. Okay, so the first fold, okay, is going to go up, then down. That's going to be glued together in a minute. Then you have to have a space, and that's 3/8 of an inch. Then you have to go up and make another mountain fold because we're going to sandwich 2 more pages there. So when you start folding this, you do a mountain, you go up, down, over, up, down, over. So the next one, of course, is going to be up. Just keep telling yourself up, down, over, and you'll get it. And if you do it wrong, guys, don't worry, it bends both ways. All right, so I've got up, down, over. Now I need to go over for that one. All right. Can you see how it's starting to take shape? Up, down, over, up, down, over, up. I'm not in the screen. Up, down, over, up, down, over, up, down, over. And the next one will go up. Now, just so that you understand, we're going to go back and we're going to glue or tape in between each of those pleats, okay? You can see the back side. So I'm now going down, so I have to go over. It gets a little harder to hold it as you go. That's why I try so hard to share with you on the front end what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got up, down, over, up, down, over. Now this one's going to be an up. Oops. Now I folded that without hitting the score line. If you happen to do that, guys, that will be a problem. So go back and fold it correctly. Make sure that this is even down at the bottom. So I didn't get that straight. So I'm going to go up here to the top of the page and I'm going to pull this back over to where it's even. See, it's straightening it out for me. Okay, good. And so now I got to go this way. And then I go over. And then I go up. Then I go down. Then I go over. Oop, again I did it. I went off my score line. I'm doing that kind of deliberately so you guys can see how important it is to get these pieces straight. If you don't get your gusset straight, your pages will be crooked. And then you'll say, Sherry, mine came out crooked. Well, it will if you don't get it straight, guys. And I still didn't get that one straight. I gotta go back and redo it again. There we go. See, it's not matching, and I want it to match perfectly. Okay, and then fold this one over. So this one is, let's see. All right, so we got up, down, over. All right, I missed one there, so I've got to, okay, up, down, over. This one should be up instead of down. See, it's that easy, guys. You can make that mistake too. You're not watching me. I know you're not because you're doing your own thing, trying to figure out if this is right or wrong. And it came out perfect. Because the last one should be a mountain. The first one should be a mountain. Okay? So you're going to have 6 pleats. 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you get that done and you're happy with your scoring, you're going to turn it over. And you're going to either tape it or glue it. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to glue it. I don't want it to squirt out the ends, so I'm going to do a light coating of glue. I may change my mind and tape it, but I think I want to glue them this time. I taped my book, but I thought for the sake of showing you, see, now that one stands up perfectly. So I'm going to go now to the second pleat and I'm going to glue it. Yeah, I can get it in the crease, it doesn't matter. I just want enough glue on there to keep it together nicely. Good. So see, my first 2 are looking good. Now I'm going to go to that next one. Again, I'm going to put the glue in the crease there. Okay. And I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to have to mark the table because I am definitely going out of screen. So we're going to put a dot right there. Okay, now Sherry should hit it. Okay, and so I've got 1, 2, 3. So the next one should be this one here. So I'm going to turn it over and glue that one. Oops, got some on the back part there. That's okay. I just don't want it to glue together. There we go. Make sure I got it down good. I don't think I did. Okay. So I've got 4 of mine done. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So this one and this one have all I've got left. So when I turn this one over, what I'm going to do is do the last one first. Oops, got a lot of glue on that. I'm using a bold tip on that thing, and I need to switch it to a fine tip. Do that right now. Okay, and then I'm going to press that down. I want to make sure it is straight. It's a little damp now, so it's trying to curve on me. There we go. And you thought you could make a bigger mess. You haven't seen the messes I can make. All right, so I'm still short 1. Let me go out a little bit. There we go. I'm still short 1. It's this one here. So I'm going to go back now and get this one. And then I'm going to fold it over and burnish good. All right. Now, if you've got pieces sticking every direction, all you got to do is put them all in one direction. The edge should be the same here and on that side. I'm looking good. Now, that is my gusset. See how neat that looks? They're all even. The gusset's perfect. We're going to be able to work with that. I'm just going to go through now and stick it straight up. Now, this is going to be heavy. So when we attach this to this, it has got to hold, folks. This is going to be so heavy when it comes out of when the pages go on there. It's going to be right here in the center of the spine, and it's going to have to stay down good. Now, if you're not using art glitter glue, your glue will not hold this, more than likely. What I recommend you do, and this is just my personal preference, I take the score tape and I cut it in strips and I put that on there, or I take a wide one and run it down the middle. But I like to put some of the score tape on there before I put the glue. It's like a double adhesive that way. It kind of gives me a little bit more security. I don't want to cover the whole thing, but I do want enough that when I burnish this down really, really, really well, that score tape is not going to come off, okay? And the score tape will also hold it in the right shape. Okay? I think I'm going to put one more piece on there. Right down the middle. And I am pressing really hard, guys. All right, now that I've got that, I'm going to pull the backing off. And I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put glue on this. I'm going to run it down the middle beside the glue, or the tape, I'm sorry, beside the tape. If I put too much on the edges, it'll show, so you got to be careful. I'm trying my best to keep this in frame for you. Again, down between my tapes. And I'm actually putting a little bit on my tapes themselves, okay? That way, when I get ready to attach this, it's got glue and tape both holding it. Now, my head's probably going to be in the camera. I'm going to scoot it out a little bit. I'm going to pull it down, and I want to line this up in the middle of my book. If you don't line this up in the middle of your book at this point, your book pages will go crooked. All right, I'm trying to see if I've got this correct. I'm happy. So I'm burnishing that down with my finger in between each of these pleats. I can't tell you how important this is. Okay. This is probably the most important thing you can do in a book, because it is going to hold the pages in there. People can live with a crooked page, but they can't live with no page. So you've got to get that down really well. All right, I pushed them down flat, so I can now pull them back up. All right, I don't want anything else to go on with this pleat until that dries thoroughly. That pleat is now done. Okay, it looks pretty good. We've got the gusset done. Now, that's the hard part, folks. That was everything that's really, really hard about your book. Okay, so on the, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the front cover. Things are falling on my head again. It happens a lot around here. On the front cover, you have two different mats that you cut out. You're going to cut this one here, and don't put it on upside down. This is that pretty green floral pattern. You're going to put it down first. We're going to glue it in place. Then for your spine, you're going to glue your flowers. They go up and down, so be careful. You're going to glue those right here, okay? And then you're going to glue this piece here. Then flipping over to the back cover, you're going to put one solid piece that's just your plaid, and that'll be on your back. If you want to do something different, you've got paper, you can do something different. But I'm just telling you what to do here. You've got to cut them out of your decorative paper that's in your pack, and if you don't find it in the pack of paper that's the paper collection, I have put extra sheets at the bottom of your box, so you'll have plenty of these two papers, I promise. Okay, so before you go ahead and cover your whole book, I did want to share with you, when you get to this point, you need to stop. You can cover the front mat here. You can cover the spine mat of the green and the pink flowers and the plaid, and you can do the plaid on the back. But you need to stop short of putting this one on, because we're going to pop this one up. And I don't want you to do that until we are ready, because I want the book to lay flat while we're working on it. So hold off on putting the pretty green plaid on the front just yet, okay? You can go ahead and do these other covers like they're called for in the cutting guide, but hold off on that last plaid for right now. All right, see you in video 2.